Stop giving away your underwear, people. Stop it.
Shredded.
I think it's that time.
It's that time?
It is.
What time is it?
It's time to shred that mic.
What? I'm so excited. It's been so long.
It has been forever since we've shredded a mic.
Yeah.
Has it been 3-ish weeks?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Over 3 weeks. It's been almost a month. That feels like a really long time. I'm having shred withdrawal.
I am so excited to be here and actually do some version of stand-up. I just want to say, for those of you who don't know us or don't follow us on social, we were in Europe for 3-ish weeks and did exactly 0 mics. Despite the fact that we were like kind of entertaining the idea of actually potentially doing one in these very tiny inns and towns throughout Europe.
Yeah, we were like, the Swiss will find our humor hilarious, right? No, probably not.
No, probably not. They probably don't get it at all.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're going to get to hear about our trip because obviously it was a wealth of material. So,
I mean, just in general, life advice, just go on trips to generate material because you'll learn so much not only about yourself, but also other cultures and how they view you. Mm-hmm. Yes. And or our ridiculousness.
Yes.
Hey, Kelly, before we get too far, what's the Shred the Mic podcast all about?
That's a good question. Shred the Mic is a stand-up comedy podcast where Zeke and I each do 5 minutes of new material each week, and then we give each other a little feedback. Right?
That's it.
That's it.
In, out, 5 minutes of actual new material. Mm-hmm. A little bit of feedback, and otherwise, guys, hit us up in the comments. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe.
Yes.
And tell us what jokes you like. Tell us what jokes you feel like actually have legs. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You know, again, we're still looking for a great name for our pirate ship.
Oh, that's right.
Right now, the current, and dare I say the only contender right now is the SS Man Bun, courtesy of Jay Smith.
It's pretty good.
It's really good. I do like it. I fully support it. But we are taking other suggestions as we build our pirate ship alongside show business.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a man bun, so I feel slightly excluded by that.
It's just part of the patriarchy, baby. Just, you know.
Should be used to it by now. Our ship's usually named after women. That's like the one thing that we got.
Storms for sure.
Storms
because you're obviously destructive.
And we destroy each other. Storms destroy ships.
It all works perfectly.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. All right. Well, without further ado, Kelly, shall we shred a mic?
Let's do it.
All right. Coming to the Shred the Mic stage, Miss Kelly Shanley.
Woo!
Shred the mic.
Thank you so much. I'm excited. Ready to get shreddy. You guys, I'm going to tell you about our trip. So the first week of our trip, we were hiking in the Swiss Alps. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Swiss motherfucking Alps. And it was just as epic as you would think. We were with my family, and it was really fun. So over the course of 6 days, we covered 68 miles and over 20,000 vertical feet. Yeah. 5,000 of which were in one day. Was not my favorite day, but it was not my least favorite day. You'll hear about that. But on this 5,000 vertical foot day, we were dying. Like most of the time we were dying. We had packs on, not like fully loaded packs, but like moderately loaded packs. And at one of the points where we like pull off to the side, just like, I'm fine. Are you fine? I'm great. This beautiful Swiss woman who looked like a model just jogged right up the trail past us. Like, this is mile 4 or 5 too. Like, and no, she didn't have a pack, but she pranced past us like she was just strolling down the Venice boardwalk. Like it was insulting. Okay. Like it made me feel almost as shitty as when I was at a lovely Italian restaurant enjoying both gelato and homemade tiramisu. And my Apple Watch went, time to stand. Yeah, I almost slapped the shit out of it, but I needed it to track my vert. So, priorities. But like these hikes are so brutal. And apparently they're just like popular Swiss day hikes. Mm-hmm. I'm like, who would do this twice? It's just what I kept thinking all the way, you know? And like on the super steep day, I happened to see a dead marmot on the side of the trail. For those of you who don't know what a marmot is, it's like a small mountain critter, a large rodent, I guess, kind of like a groundhog or...
Yeah, it's groundhog-like. It's a little like a fat groundhog.
Yeah,
That's the way I would describe it.
Small furry mountain critter. But it was dead just off the side of the trail, like 6 inches from the trail. But it wasn't maimed or anything. It just kind of looked like it was sleeping. And I was like, what happened to this marmot? I know what happened to this marmot. He took one look at the amount of vertical feet he had left and was just like, I'm done. And fucking fell over. Yeah. That marmot is my spirit animal. R.I.P. marmot. No, so another day, this was my least favorite day. The trail was for the greater part of like 4 or 5 miles, basically on a cliff. It was like mountain trail, cliff, trail, cliff. You know, I'm a little afraid of heights, but generally not when I'm hiking. I'm okay. But it turns out if it's like that for 5 miles straight, I will cry. I will cry. Yeah, it got to me. Excuse me. It got to me. Like I was just hanging in there. Nobody was talking about it. So I was like, I guess everybody else is fine. And then like at one point I just was like, I'm not fine. And I started crying. And I had like a tiny anxiety attack.
Just a little baby one.
A little tiny one. Like there was no room to have a big one.
There is literally no room.
Yeah, like breathe too deep and you fall off the mountain. So like luckily I kept it small. But my sister had to lead me off of that mountain like a fucking donkey with blinders on. Like she just kept telling me to look to my left because the cliff was to my right. She'd be like, oh, Kelly, look at this flower over here. Oh, look at this cool rock. And then sometimes she was just like, look over here. So once I finally calmed down, after all of this, you know who I saw on that trail? A fucking mom with a toddler on her back. Like a decent sized toddler. I don't know if baby ages very well, but like he looked big enough to toddle for sure. Definitely big enough to throw your balance off.
Full toddle mode. Yeah.
Like, and for a second I was like, oh my God, that's adorable. And then I was like, wait a second. That's insane. Like, I need to call Swiss Child Protective Services because what the fuck is happening? Yeah. So the Swiss are built differently. I'll say that much.
You got 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
If you wanna add to it.
Oh man. I'll just do a little teaser. We later in the trip, we rented some dune buggies when we were in Nazaré. And we got profiled, you guys. But it was actually in a good way. Because the leader was like, he was driving an ATV and he's like, you guys be the first buggy behind me. And we're like, all right, whatever. And then we found out later, because every time he slowed down, we were right on his ass and everybody else was fucking lagging. So clearly he knew we lived to get radical and could shred those buggies.
House Norfolk Wood.
Woo! And that's my time.
Kelly Shanley, everybody. Give it up.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Shredded. Yeah, absolutely. Great job.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Where do we want to start? Where do we start? My brain works backwards, so let's do that.
Yeah, just touched on the dune buggy.
Touched on the dune buggy. I obviously didn't want to step on that too much, but yes, that was amazing how much you profiled. As we learned, and I'll talk about it in my time, how much profiling is a thing in Europe. And I'm here for it. I am fucking here for it. But yes, yeah, our collective Americanism was on full display when he was just like, you guys are Americans? Follow me. You guys definitely live to get radical. Love that. What was before that?
The woman with the toddler, my anxiety attack, steep cliffs.
Steep cliffs, good.
Laurel leading me off like a donkey.
Yes. No, I love that. Was definitely there for all of it. I had a very similar thought about Child Protective Services because, my God, that toddler was big enough to toddle, but then also they were just kind of very casually just like swinging a little toddler back and forth.
Yeah, the trail was like this. It was like 1 foot wide most of the way, just for context.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to see more about Child Protective Services and what the Swiss version of that is as you develop it and just figure out what would their response be like. so, and were they not going high enough or fast enough? Like, would be like their very Swiss attitude about hiking, which to us is terrifying because, Kelly's anxiety may have manifested itself in the form of tears.
Yes.
But that's not to say that I wasn't fighting it the entire day because it was scary as fuck. And like, when the trail is like 18 inches long and if you roll your ankle the wrong way,
bye.
You're fucked. You were completely fucked.
Yeah. Not to mention like everyone I care about most in the world is also on this trail. If anyone trips and falls, my life is forever changed.
Yeah. And we were like, this is a fun vacation.
Most of it was fun.
Yeah, it was. But it was pretty extreme at certain parts. And like the sketchy ladders, the sketchy bridges, the random ropes at the most, sometimes
unhelpful
times.
Spots?
Yeah. And there were times where you're just like, oh, there is no trail. And somehow I need to bend myself Matrix style around this rock.
With a pack.
With a fucking pack on.
One of my favorite features was below one of the like narrow bridges, there was just a rope with like a couple of, it was pinned in a few spots and just a rope. And I think it was a body catcher. Like if you fell off the bridge, grab the rope.
Try and grab the rope if you didn't hit your head and get knocked out.
Yeah, there's no other explanation. I don't know what.
Yeah. Yeah. And that doesn't even touch upon the world's longest suspension bridge that we were on. And just how insane that was.
That was probably the safest part though.
Until those three fucking idiots with their 360 video cameras started coming at us as we're almost crossed. And it's sort of like, oh, they really had to go, I guess. They couldn't wait. It was awfully American of them, even though they were European.
Yeah.
All right.
More on that in the weeks to come.
Absolutely. There's so much more to dissect. I barely got through my notes as far as like material for the podcast.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I just want to focus on two stories, and they're definitely at the beginning of our journey.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hear them.
Yeah.
So are you ready to shred a mic then? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the mic, Mr. Zeke Thomas.
Shred the mic.
Thank you so much, everybody. It's so good to be back in front of a mic. So good to see you guys as well. Kelly to Shanley, thank you so much. Speaking of our trip, I don't want to go there just yet, only because it's my new weekly segment, Santa Monica Buy Nothing Group, and its ridiculousness. I don't know. I don't think I mentioned it while we were on our trip, but I was taking notes. I was screenshotting shit. I have fucking receipts. Santa Monica Buy Nothing Group. I see you. Highlights from this week. Sprig of basil lady. This is a little crazy, but in search of a sprig of basil. I do not like it, but need it for garnish. Thanks in advance. What are you doing? What are you doing? And why do I need your opinion about basil if you just want a sprig of it for garnish? I don't need... Get out of my Santa Monica group. Next, bag of girls' socks, underwear, tights, and leg warmers.
Oh, my God.
Do I donate or give away? Literally the same fucking thing. Socks are like new condition. Underwear, good to very good condition. Kel, if you looked at your underwear, could you tell the difference between good and very good condition?
You know, I don't really rate my underwear to give to other people, so no.
That's not a scale. Stop it. Stop it, Santa Monica group. Next one. California takeout shirt. It's a graphic tee of a bear pulling a camper out of a tent. And it says, California takeout, Lake Tahoe.
I did see that one.
That one actually made me laugh. You get to stay in the Santa Monica group.
Yeah, you can stay.
Yeah. Lastly, right before we got on the pod, I did see a good one for a box of tampons. One was opened and one was unopened. Santa Monica Buy Nothing group, you don't disappoint. Some of you guys do have to leave, and some of you are allowed to stay, but you will continue to be a source of material moving forward. Okay, on to our trip. I wanted to talk a little bit about airport security in my continuing series on how to deal with law enforcement officers and or security personnel. So in this week's edition, I like to present how to get through airport security, LAX edition. Now, on our trip, we had to do some research as to what we could and could not take on to our planes based on TSA securities, TSA security protocols, airline protocols, and it was all very specific. And so Kelly, in her quest to bring nutritious vegan food to our trip, she decided to bring... She elected to try and clear security with 1 pound of white vegan protein powder. Now, legally, she is allowed to do this. In reality, she is not, okay? This set off alarm bells at TSA like nobody's business, okay? Because I don't know if you're familiar with white vegan protein powder in a clear white baggie, but it sure as fuck looks a lot like either... finely ground cocaine or heroin.
No.
Yeah. In addition to its look, they of course swabbed it and they got a false positive for explosives, which was awesome. This is where we got lucky because there just happened to be a TSA explosives expert at TSA.
Yeah.
And this is where all my Florida training, all the great talk I got from my cousin Tarek about how to interact with law enforcement officers came into existence, right? It just came into sharp focus. Because while Kelly was being not only searched and like brought into a very secure area, I got to go into full fucking bootlicker mode with this guy. And I was distracting him with questions about his military service and his clandestine travel obligations and just trying to put this guy at ease as we tried to get our very illegal vegan protein powder through there.
God bless you.
And so, full bootlicker mode, but... did I want to tell him how stupid this entire process was? 100%. Did I want to tell him that this was all basically security theater and that it was a giant waste of time? Absolutely. Did I want to tell him that they all needed to quit their jobs and go find something more important to do or possibly learn from the Israeli version of the TSA and just learn to profile people in a much more efficient manner? 100%. But did I? No, not a fucking chance, because I wanted us to get on a plane and go to Europe. Okay? I could make fun of these guys later on the podcast. That was the only thing I was thinking about the entire time was like, while I was thanking this guy for his fucking service in the military, definitely not a service to the TSA. Anyways, I know my time is almost up here, but I almost I referred to the script like while we were there. I was like, do I tell him a joke about showing him mine and not showing him yours? I was just like, this might raise more red flags. And also I don't have a gun on me. Anyways, I'll wrap up by saying that version, TSA needs to learn how to profile. You know, they need to learn from the Europeans because by the time we got to Europe, we got a absolute lesson in profiling because not only did we as Americans get profiled at the dune buggy place, but I will tease this. I got profiled so heavily in Portugal in the best way possible, but Kelly and her sister ruined it all for me. And I got to speak so little Portuguese in Portugal. Guys, that's my time. We'll pick that one up next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zeke Thomas.
Yeah.
Shredded.
Oh man.
Kelly to Shanley, feedback.
Buy Nothing Group. Oh, I would love to know why she's giving away tampons. Like, did she just go through menopause? Or like it's just strange. Like generally if you buy them, you need them, but I don't know, maybe she didn't like them. It just raises some questions.
It really does. It was like 2 identical boxes.
Yeah.
Tried one, and went, nah, not for me.
I mean, that's fair, I guess. But why buy 2 boxes if you've never tried? It's probably from Costco. I don't know. It's just,
More questions than answers in the Santa Monica Buy
amuses
Nothing
me.
group.
Yeah, that amuses me. Maybe you could like come up with hypotheticals for each of them. Like you could just give us one delicious one a week and some hypotheticals about like
Ooh, I like
who
that.
this person is and why they're giving away what they're giving away.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're all good. And underwear. Stop giving away your underwear, people. Stop it. There are programs where you can recycle your underwear. Just Google it. Or just throw it away. Okay. Nobody wants your used panties.
Usually it's organic material and it's usually cotton.
Yeah.
Cotton breaks down.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the great protein powder debacle. In my defense, it was off-white. Okay,
Yeah.
I did not bring the supplement that was pure white. I was like, this looks too suspect. Also, it was clearly labeled Huel protein. So
Yeah, in your handwriting.
in my handwriting. Yeah. Well, they had no problem with my weed gummies. They didn't find those fucking things. So that's how you know security is working. No, I like that. I like you tying it in with the lessons from Tarek about how to get out of a ticket. I think that's a nice through line.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just true. I was very grateful. He was schmoozing his ass off, you guys. I was getting felt up by a very respectful lady. She asked for consent before she touched like every part of my body. Consent is important. She's like, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to do it. But I'm going to check with you every step. You know, my favorite part was the boob part. Because they don't just like grab you. They like swipe under your breasts.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was new for me. But anyway.
I learned a thing or two, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you could also, you probably would have if you had more time, expand on how TSA is different in every single country. Like everywhere else we went, no one gave a fuck about my protein powder. Or no, I think I ditched it before we flew again. But the only thing they cared about, they didn't care about shoes. They didn't care about laptops. They only cared about your liquids. And they just feel compelled to pull it out of whatever container you have it in. Even if you took it out and put it in the bin, which is the rule here, they have to put it in a little Ziploc bag. And you're like, what the fuck? In the
very
meantime,
important. Yeah.
Zeke didn't pull out like a full-size tube of lotion and that got through. None of it makes sense. Anyway. Yeah, TSA rant. I think that's relatable.
I think it is, especially as more people are starting to fly.
Yeah.
You know, and just it was insane. But like just I feel like I have a duty to share my schmoozing knowledge and how to deal with law enforcement officers. Yeah. A, to keep minorities and people of color like myself alive. Yeah. First and foremost, it's public service there. Yeah. But B, how to just keep shit moving. And it's like, do I want to tell all these people to go fuck themselves? 100%. Like if I couldn't eye roll any harder whenever I was interacting with these folks. But I understand that they do serve a purpose, but they just at times they're just misdirecting all their energy. You know, and I think that's what bothers me so much is I'm like, this is all theater. You know, and even in other countries too, when it was sort of like I was like one of the guys who was like pulled our toothpaste out and there were 2 tubes of toothpaste. One was full, one was used. And I was like, he's like, I have to take this. And I was just like, will you at least acknowledge that this is toothpaste? He's like, yes. And I'm like, well, sick. Let's negotiate. I was like, let me have the full one then. You know, I need something to brush my teeth with. He's like, sir, I can't do that. And I'm like, but we've both acknowledged, we agree that this is toothpaste and nothing else. And he's like, yes. And I'm like, so let me have it. He's like, no. And I'm like, it's this absence of logic that it just blows me away that I'm like, why are we okay with this? Yeah. Why are they okay with this? Like, do they go home at night and they pat themselves on the back and go, we did the Lord's work today.
I don't know.
We did well. We did well.
I don't know, man. I feel like they're not.
Did you feel safer?
No, I did not. But imagine if I had been a person of color and not me. Yeah. Imagine how that would have gone.
Dude, showing up with a pound.
It was not a pound. It was not that much. And I Googled, for the record, I did a lot of Googling and it said supplements and protein powder are totally fine. You can bring those through TSA in any container you'd like. Mm-hmm. They lied.
Yeah. Okay? They're all a bunch of liars.
They lied. Anyway. Yeah. Lots of material.
Lots of
about
material.
The TSA.
I apologize in advance. It's going to be a lot of travel related and international stuff, but you're welcome in advance. Kelly to Shanley, How do you remember social media? I don't know if you do, but if you do you remember your handles? Do you remember your calls to action?
Well, luckily, it's just my name. So, yes. On Instagram and TikTok, I am at Kelly A. Shanley. On YouTube, I am just Kelly Shanley. And on Medium, if you like to read funny stuff, I'm also at Kelly Shanley.
I love it.
What about you, Zeke? Where can people find you?
I'm glad you asked. Almost everywhere you can find me at Zeke Thomas is Rad. On YouTube, you can find me at Zeke Thomas, at least for now, until I update everything and get it all aligned on the same brand of Zeke Thomas is Rad. For all your other Zeke Thomas needs, you can find me at ZekeThomas.com. And of course, all my patrons, I love you so much. You can get me at patreon.com/Zeke Thomas is Rad. Definitely hit me up there. Join the community. Come get access to me, to all this amazing content that is behind a paywall, and join us. Shout out to Sophia Monroe, Jonathan Hamrick. You guys are at the Johnny Utah level. Thank you in advance. You guys get mentioned each and every show. So if you guys are willing to join the community, you can do it, and you will get mentioned each and every show moving forward in support of this podcast.
Look at that.
Wow. Kelly,
What?
I think we shredded mics.
I think so.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but this is shredded.
Fully shredded.
Yeah.
I got to hit up our sponsors for some new mics. That's what I got to do.
This is an illusion.
Guys, you are amazing. You are legion. We will see you next week with another episode of
Shred the
Mic. Yeah. Shred the Mic is written, hosted, and produced by Zeke Rodrigues Thomas and Kelly Shanley. Audio engineering by Zeke Rodrigues Thomas for Mind Jam Media. And when in doubt, shred the mic.